Hey, I could easily make this video an hour, 2 hours long. I tend to ramble, so I'm going to do a little bit of editing to make sure that I am getting some main points I want to get across. And so first, bam. Obviously, I'm a drag queen. So I wanted to share this video in drag because I want to break some stereotypes about being a drag queen, being trans, being in the queer community, being a minority. You don't need to follow a certain set of rules. You don't need to follow a certain set of restrictions. And in fact, that's kind of the opposite of what we're all working towards in terms of getting to a place where we can have self-government and not have to worry about what other people think about us. I am someone who has always been against big corporations, big banks, corrupt government, unfair policing. I was actually in St. Louis during the Mike Brown shooting, and I was part of Black Lives Matter rallies, wanting to make sure that there weren't people being mistreated, that there weren't unjust policies in place. So I'm someone who cares very much about the underdog, and I want to make sure that everyone is getting a voice and being heard. When I do drag, I don't really do a lot of performing. I don't do it to make money. I like to go out, make people feel special, help people kind of find that inner energy in themselves to feel special about themselves. I think in society, there's a very low level of interaction that we currently have, and a lot of times in the grand scheme of things, we kind of forget about individual people. I didn't know my parents. I was abused as a child, and that kind of upbringing raised me to feel that I always need to question authority, and I always need to make sure that people are being heard and that we are understanding that people need to be understood of where they might have come from, that you don't know what that is. You don't know what they've been through. I always thought the liberal side of the argument was the correct side, a side for justice and goodwill and caring about people. And I tended to see the conservative side as being kind of overzealous, religious, not caring much about people and kind of focusing on money. Several years back, I moved to a more progressive area. And I think that saturation of seeing a lot of progressive people in the same spot has kind of started to show me what's going on. I started to notice a lot of people who were extremely intolerant, but they said they were the most tolerant people around. You had to watch everything you said around them, you had to watch everything you did around them. Your freedom was pretty much gone and subject to their control. There was still a lot of jokes and negativity around, but it was basically decided that you needed to direct that at the groups that we don't like. White, straight, cis, Christian, male. And as a minority, if you didn't join in with that, if you didn't join in with attacking those groups, so if you said, hey, maybe we shouldn't attack them quite so harshly, maybe we should accept people, then you kind of lost your minority card. So like if you're black, they'd say, oh, well, are you white? If you're gay, you lose your gay card. Really silly stuff. And the weird thing is they kind of treat you like you're not a minority anymore, like you're part of the problem now, which is weird because you are still a minority. If you really think about it, all these people, everyone talking about how they have concerns about the liberal community is still very much minority, and the fact that their voices aren't being respected by the community is a huge red flag. And the people they attack with hate and malice and spite and disturbing comments. If you took some of the comments on Twitter and Facebook and you replaced majority groups with minority groups, the comments would be obviously disgusting hate speech. But they always have some kind of excuse. The new definition of racism, I'm a minority, so I have a lot of aggression built up. Oh, they had it coming. They had their time that they were mean to us, and now we need to be mean to them. That was one of the biggest wake-up calls for me, seeing what was supposed to be an inclusive community attacking and eating itself, and the people that it was supposed to be supporting and protecting, it really wasn't doing that anymore. It started to be obvious that the progressive movement was only really interested in protecting itself. People in the progressive campaign are entirely disposable. As more and more people are added, there always needs to be someone else who's the problem. So they keep finding someone who's the new problem. I'm seeing new articles where now gay, black, and Asian men are the new problem. And it's silly, it's absolutely ridiculous to keep just moving the blame from group to group to group to group and fixing nothing. I understand sharing a helpful ideology, like explaining why you want to protect minorities, why you might want to support a certain cause, but that's not what's happening. What's happening is that no one's teaching anyone anything. There's just hateful attacks and shaming. While I was slowly losing my liberal faith, and not hiding it very much, I had many drag queens and queer people come up to me and tell me, oh my God, thank you for talking about this topic. I can't believe people are attacking you for this, and I wish more people were talking about it, but I can't talk about it because I don't want to be attacked. because I don't want to lose my job, because I don't want to be ostracized. So that solidified to me what kind of authoritarian takeover has been happening for quite a while in the gay community. We lost our freedom, we lost our voices, we lost the ability to take the community and say, hey, I don't like the direction we're going with this. You can't do that anymore. It's not in your hands because we're listening to politicians. And if we're just listening to politicians, then what's the point of any of this? Why have pride? Why have gay rights marches? If it's not really about the people that you're supposed to be protecting, why do any of it? It's all a sham. At the end of the day, it ends up being a group of individuals and a closed-minded community that stays silent out of fear. So that's the story of why I chose to #WalkAway. I'm blessed to have a group of friends who are very tolerant and intelligent. I have friends that we don't agree, and that's fine. And that's how it should be. We sit down, if we have something that we disagree with, we say, agree to disagree, let's have a drink. And that's what we need to do in the queer community, not attack each other like children. I love all of you, and I hope this video gets out to the people that it needs so desperately to get to. A lot of people feel alone, a lot of people feel helpless, and if you have the ability and you have the strength to be strong and talk out and say something about it, you need to do it, and it's the time to do it. There's a lot more of us than anyone realizes, and when we all come together, we can't be shut down, we can't be made silent, and we will make a change.